We haven't had a lunch and learn in a couple months because of the snow days that we had, so we welcome back the chief. Thank you very much.
The chief! Mac and cheese. You now mac and cheese.
And we also welcome John Weiss here too. And we have our speaker, Robin Putnam, as well. So the chief will be introducing Robin in a few minutes, but I want to have a few moments for some announcements.
Yes.
First of all, Saturday, March 12th, there is a Home and Community Expo at the Northbridge High School. We have free admission coupons for that at the front desk if anyone's interested in going to that. That's going to be Saturday, March 12th from 10 to 2. And again, that's at the Northbridge High School. Also, the Uxbridge High School is having a performance of Cinderella on March 18th. That's a Friday. The sign-up sheet is on the board for that if anyone is interested in going to that performance. That is free of charge. They're also serving lunch for us as well. You can either ride on the van, or if you want to meet us right there at Uxbridge High School, you can do that as well. Be there for around 9 o'clock in the morning because the performance starts at 9:30. Did you have a question?
Lunch here that day?
We are still having lunch here. Yeah, so
They're
you can.
providing them lunch too.
Uxbridge High School is providing lunch if you want to stay for lunch after the performance. So either way, or if you want to come here for lunch after, that's fine too. All right, so sign up is on the board for that as well. And then we have our winners for the Super Bowl. You all had guessed the scores for what the Super Bowl would be. So Richard Trubesky is the first prize winner, so congratulations.
Here you go.
All right, March newsletters are out for the Senior Center, so check out the newsletter if you haven't received one yet on the way out. Lots of different things going on as far as different programs and services that we offer. Also, welcome back to our new and improved Senior Center. You can see the beautiful floor, the painting is done. So we are planning an open house as well, probably sometime in April. We have new tables on order and a few other things coming in. So we want to wait till it's all finished, and we're looking forward to that coming up. But yeah, so it's lots of changes. Anything else? Did I miss anything, Sally?
I'm new and improved. It's my month. The shenanigans will begin. This is my month. Guys, we started back up again. We're at a slow roll right now. We are starting our trips. We're going to some restaurants. We're going to the movies. We are doing a lot of in-house crafts, which you guys don't understand. I missed you guys. It is so difficult. Gail and I try to have fun online, but it's just Gail and I. It's not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same. So we have sign-ups on the board, but I hate to tell you this, people, I think everything except the trip to the high school for
Cinderella, yeah.
It's
Everything's
booked.
booked.
Everything's booked.
But we got April coming, so.
Yes, April's coming fast and furious, so if you read it, sign up for it immediately because they're going quick. People want to hang with me. That's it for me.
All right, let's do.
No, it's 2 sheets. 2 sheets, yeah.
Okay, let's do a moment of silence before lunch, please. All right, thank you. Enjoy your lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, while you're all eating, we're going to start our program today, if that's okay. My name is Chief Montminy. You all remember me. I wanted to give a couple of notifications. Does everybody remember my assistant, Jean?
Yeah.
Jean is retiring in July. Do you believe that? So Yeah, you'll see, Jean's on vacation right now, but you'll see her again, but she's retiring in July, so I want to bring her by once or twice more before she leaves. Also, I want to mention, in case anybody didn't see the news, state trooper was killed last night. A female state trooper was killed. Tragic situation that took place on the highway. So I asked everybody to include her in your prayers. So today we've got a special treat for you. Robin Putnam is here from the Research and Special Projects Manager from the Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation.
Say that 5 times.
Okay. Who can repeat that for me?
We just say Ocabra. We never say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Robin is here from Ocabra. How about that? And she wants to talk to you a little bit about something that's near and dear to my heart, preventing identity theft and fraud. So please give your attention to Robin.
Thank you so much. Let me know, can you all hear me? Yeah. Excellent. Just want to make sure. So, as the chief mentioned, I work for the Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation. We are a state agency. We're located in Boston, right across from Trinity Church, though we're all working from home. We're slowly coming out of this pandemic, thankfully. I will say, I've been giving programs like this since 2015, and the last 2 years have been a little rough doing it only via Zoom. And you guys are my first in-person talking to people, and I'm so excited to be out. I think it probably sounds a little bit weird, but working from home is a little boring. So we wanted to talk quickly about, I'm going to bring up the phone scams, because they're obnoxious, they hit all of us, and I did talk to a couple of people already in this room who have been kind of frustrated by the phones. The best thing that you can do, if you have caller ID on your phone and you don't recognize that number, is not to pick the phone up at all. Even picking it up and hanging it up, the scammer will actually make money, because now he knows that it's a live phone number and he'll sell your phone number to somebody else. So that's why, don't even pick anything up, just leave it, let it go to voicemail. Now, if your caller ID says Chief of Police, Fire Department, and I'm not knocking the Chief of Police or the Fire Department, but do you honestly think that the Fire Department is calling you? Unless you know the Chief of Police specifically and he's going to be calling you, fine. But I'd be very, very careful to pick up the phone, even if it says Chief of Police, IRS, my office. And I say that because most people have smartphones, and you can download an app, and I can scramble my phone number so that when I call you, it might pop up Uxbridge Police Department, IRS. So you can't 100% know who actually is calling you. Now, if you decide to pick up the phone, and it's someone who's asking you very personal questions. You know, hi, this is Sarah. I'm calling from your bank. We noticed some discrepancies in your accounts. Were you trying to buy a $3,000 TV last night at Best Buy? And you might be a little nervous. I would. And I say, what do you mean? No, I was not at Best Buy last night. I was not trying to buy a TV. Now, I'm only using Best Buy as an example. They are not a fraudulent company. But what they do is they use, it's called social engineering. They give you lots of little pieces of information about you, which can all be found online. Everything about who you are is online. Whether it's the last 4 digits of your social security number, the last 4 digits of your ATM number. That information can be found on the dark web. So if someone's calling you and asking for personal information like that, simply hang up. I always say, never give personal information out over the phone to anybody who has called me directly, because you can't verify it really is your bank or the IRS, etc. Now, if you are a little concerned, maybe it is your credit card, maybe it is your bank, pull out your ATM card, pull out your Visa, your MasterCard, whatever the financial institution is, and call the 800 customer service phone number that's on the back. That way you know 100% you're calling Visa. And you can call them and say, you know, I got this wacky call. Are you trying to get a hold of me? And they'll say one of two things. Yes, it was us. We did notice some discrepancies
were you trying to shop in another town? Or no, that wasn't us. Did you give personal information out over the phone to whomever called you? It's just really important to know that you really can't rely on your caller ID, and these fraudsters will stop at nothing. And I'm going to also bring up data breaches. So when there's a data breach anywhere in the world and it affects just one consumer in Massachusetts, that entity has to report it to my office as well as the Attorney General. So I'm the one person who has read every single data breach for months. And prior to the pandemic, we would get maybe 15 or 20 a week. We are now getting upwards of 100 a week. In the last 2 weeks, over 150,000 Massachusetts residents had their personal information stolen. Now, the biggest scam that's going on right now is that a lot of hospitals have been hit with ransomware. Any kind of entity you can possibly imagine is being hit with ransomware. Orphanages, hospitals, nonprofits, you name it. So what's happening with the hospitals, though, is the fraudsters, they don't get necessarily your social security number, but they're going to impersonate your hospital, your doctor's office. And they're going to say, hi, this is Sarah. I'm new at Dr. So-and-so's office. I'm just updating some information. We noticed that you were recently in to see him because you had a bum shoulder or whatever, because they have that personal information because they stole it already. And then they say, we noticed that you have you're going to be coming in a couple of weeks. I'm just updating some information for the doctor. Could you verify your social security number for us? No. Exactly. But what's happening is hospitals, because they've been hit with ransomware, people across, it's actually starting right now in the Western Mass. It hasn't totally creeped into here, but it will. So just be aware, if you get a call and you think it might be from your doctor's office, never give out personal information. It's very sad, and our office actually has a hotline that's run Monday through Friday from 9 to 4:30. It's not automated. You'll get a human being who will answer the phone. And we have started to take calls saying, I think my doctor's office is being kind of fraudulent. What's going on? I'm like, it's not the doctor's office. It's the fraudulent person impersonating the office. So just be aware.
Thank you.
If you don't recognize the phone, don't pick it up at all. I will go say, does anybody have questions regarding, yes?
Well, recently, there's another new scam out. I've got a call saying, this is Medicare, we're sending you a plastic Medicare card. I said, there's no such thing.
Yep. So the Medicare fraud has been going around for years, for decades. They're never going to call you and say, hey, we have a new wheelchair. Would you like it? We have a new this. Would you like it? It's only $50 for shipping. Things like that. Just be aware. Simply hang up the phone. Now, I will say, if you think you may have been scammed, I highly suggest everybody of all ages do a credit check. You can go to annualcreditreport.com. It is free. It's an automated phone system if you want to do it that way, or you could actually just go online and check your credit. It's super easy. The older you are, the longer the information is. But you want to make sure that everything that's listed there really is your information. If everything looks great, freeze your credit. There's so much fraud going on right now that...
Could you just repeat that?
Sure. It's called annualcreditreport.com. You can go in, it doesn't take much time. If you freeze your accounts, your credit, it does not affect your current lines of credit at all. So if you have a Visa or MasterCard, you're going to be fine. But what it will do is, if someone gets a hold of your social security number, it makes it almost impossible to open up a new line of credit in your name. So I just suggest it simply because there is so much fraud going on. It's imploded about 500% since this pandemic. And if you have grandchildren, you might want to suggest that your grandchildren have their information frozen as well. Kids who are 18 and younger are 52 times more likely to have their social security number stolen and abused. So everybody of all ages, even if that little one just came from the hospital yesterday, they assigned a social security number to that child, freeze it until that kid turns 18, because it's happening around the clock and it's really depressing. Yes?
So what happens when you want, what happens, say you want to get a new credit card or something? How do you unfreeze it?
It's a simple thing. So when you go to freeze it, you're going to basically create an account. They're going to give you either a 3 or 4 digit PIN. Write it down, don't forget it.
Please.
But, so I'll use myself as an example. I bought a house during the pandemic. All you have to do is you can log back into all 3 of the bureaus, unfreeze it for 24 hours. Your mortgage lender or your Visa can run your credit. And then once you've been given the credit, lock it back up again. Very simple. It's very easy. What other questions can I answer for people? Yes?
So if I feel like I was getting scammed, or there was at least an attempt, or I didn't answer the phone, do we report it? Will that make a difference? Do they have some kind of log on these things, and will that help if we report it?
Yes.
Who do we report it to?
I would suggest reporting it to the Federal Trade Commission, ftc.gov. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes, even just reporting the fraudulent phone numbers to them. It doesn't take much time. They do keep track of all of that information. I also would say, honestly, contact your local police department, the non-emergency number, and just let them know. Because what I've noticed with police departments is they will put out like blog posts, tweets, they will put out information on their Facebook page saying, hey, that one crazy call is happening again in Uxbridge, be aware of it. Now, the Federal Communications Commission, about 2 years ago, started running a program. It's called Shake and Stir. And what it does is it verifies the phone number A before it gets to you, phone number B. And as soon as they recognize that as fraudulent, it'll pop up on your phone as either scam, possible scam. So the government is working, so the more times that we actually report those phone numbers, it does help them combat the calls. Any other questions? Yes?
I have received a phone call saying, hi, Grandma. This is your grandson.
So she's bringing up the grandparent scam.
Yeah.
So
I know it's a scam, but
yep.
should I report that or?
I will report the phone number. Why not? Absolutely. The one thing about the grandparent scam, if you have a lot of grandchildren, have a password or a code word for your kid, all of your grandchildren, whether it's Mickey Mouse or what have you. That way, if you can verify 100%, okay, it really is little Johnny because he knew what the password was. But just be aware that those calls do come in, and it is challenging. I got the grandparent scam call. I don't even have kids. FTC, F as in Frank, T as in Tom, C as in cat, .gov. Yep.
Birthday, March 16th.
Yes.
Last month, I got a call from a bank where I have a credit card, and they told me that someone had used my card at a coffee shop in Nicaragua. So I didn't believe them, so I called the number on the back of my card, and it was true. They said it was fraud division from that bank, so I couldn't believe it. And they said, yes, that was true, and so, I followed through, and they canceled my card immediately.
Great.
And issued me a new card. And they also paid $15 that somebody charged for coffee. They said they had attempted to use my card in 3 different places, and it didn't pass, but they finally got it. So they said to me, when that happens, they try small things first, and then if it passes, then they start buying bigger things. But my bank was, right there. So
That's
they did
great.
it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? If you're going to do a lot of shopping, I would highly suggest you stop using your debit card unless you are going to put a daily spending limit on that card. Credit card skimming devices are found everywhere, anywhere you can possibly use a credit card, that magnetic strip. So if you're going to get frauded, you want it to be your credit card, because you can call Visa, MasterCard, Discover and say, I don't recognize the top charges, those aren't mine. Whereas if the money's been removed from your account because you use your debit card, if you don't act very quickly, it can take months to get the money back into your account. So my suggestion, always use a credit card unless you have set up a daily spending limit, and monitor your accounts. When your bills come in and your statements, simply read through them. If everything makes sense, fantastic. But if there's that $2 charge at, say, Brooks Pharmacy, and you always go to CVS, that should be your own red flag. I don't go to Brooks Pharmacy. What is that $2 charge? Someone's picked up your card and they're going to do a test run. They're not going to go to Best Buy and buy a $3,000 TV because your bank and your credit card companies, they know exactly how much you spend. They know where you shop, time of day. So if they see something a little outside of the box, they're going to call you, email you, text you, cut off the card. That's how they are really like Hawkeyes now. They are making sure that nothing's going to happen to everybody. Are there any other final questions that I can answer for anybody?
I spend a lot of money.
Well,
Is that a confession?
I use my credit card I never know what I'm gonna buy. Because I shop for here, I shop for home, I shop for me.
yeah.
How would you put that?
So you're shopping with your credit card or a debit card?
Debit card.
That's up to you. It's your own comfort level. The thing is, a lot of people will say, oh, I live in a cute little town. There's not going to be any skimming devices. Well, skimming devices can be found at a restaurant. They can be found at the drive-thru at Dunkin' Donuts. They're teeny. Yes, yes. Oof.
ATM.
ATM?
Yeah.
Oh. So I just honestly think, I know it's a little bit more challenging to constantly pay your credit card off. It's just going to be one of those things that will help keep you safer. I mean, if you're monitoring your information, every charge, fine. But there are a lot of people that I meet that don't. They don't look at their charge, oh, I got to pay this bill, and that's all. And they don't recognize it because they never look at it.
All right, so if you, oh,
Well,
Yes.
I do everything online, banking and everything. And I can check every day
Perfect.
what was charged on my debit card.
That's perfect.
Okay.
So the thing is, a lot of people don't monitor their own information, but you're smart. I think our seniors are a lot more savvy than they used to be. More seniors now are online. They have all kinds of devices, so they will do online banking. They'll check everything every week or so.
Yeah.
But which is fantastic. It's actually the younger generation, the 20-somethings, that don't check anything.
No,
Yes.
they're the ones.
That was a cheese.
What's that? Can you not hear me? Oh, okay. Did you have a question?
Yeah.
What's your question?
As a matter of fact, I actually have different emails that are there that I intentionally put on the side. Because two of them say about the IRS.
Oh,
And
yeah.
one was something about the thing that they had a $5,000, no, not $5 million or something.
Sure.
Can I send that, all the emails, forward it to you?
No, don't forward. I don't want your emails. Forward it to the Federal Trade Commission.
Yeah, but you want to forward it to the Federal Trade Commission
Yes.
right now? Because I know IRS never sends an email, I know that.
Yeah.
So I know that, that they say this is an IRS.
Sure.
Yeah. I will send it to Federal.
Sorry?
I say I will send it to FTC.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, thanks.
Are there any other final questions that I can answer? Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you taking the time, and have a wonderful afternoon.
you too, thank you.
Thank you, Robin. I want to just add a couple of things. First off, with regard to the debit card versus credit card, if your credit card gets scammed, the credit card company pays the bill. If your debit card gets scammed, that money comes directly out of your account. So you're better off using the credit card over the debit card. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you get any call requesting money by way of an unusual format, in other words, they want you to provide them with a prepaid debit card or something like that, that's 100% of those are fake. So if they require a payment immediately and with a non-standard form of payment, that's automatically a fraud. So if somebody calls up and says you need to provide me with an Apple, prepaid Apple card or something like that, those are all fraud. There's not one legitimate business in the world that only takes that form of payment. The other thing is big companies are very, very, very unlikely to call you. So Verizon, AT&T, National Grid, they don't call you and ask you for money. They'll send you a correspondence by mail. So just beware. And we have also in this area seen the grandparent scam, where they call up and they say, "Grandma, is that you?" And of course, you know who your grandkids are. Yeah. So you say, "Is that Joey?" Yeah, it's Joey. And they're gonna, of course, they're gonna say yes to anything. And then they proceed to tell you about how they're in jail in Guatemala someplace, and they need $10,000 bail. But do me a favor, don't tell my parents.
Yeah.
Just send me $10,000 on an Apple card or something like that. They want a non-standard form of payment. And if you get any of those kind of calls, they're all scams. Yes?
I was looking to adopt a pug puppy a couple years ago, and I was in touch back and forth online with this person, and it was about $1,300. And at the end, I was like all ready to send the money, and she says, "Oh, if you don't have the money, you can use Walmart gift cards." No, I'm not sending you $1,300
Anytime,
Walmart gift card.
and the reason they want you to send a Walmart gift card is because they're untraceable and unrevocable. Yes.
Yep.
If the phone rings and the person says, "Is this Claire?" Never say yes on the telephone. Never say yes. I usually just say, "Who's calling, please?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't offer any information, to somebody on the phone until you know who it is.
The one that I got this morning, the reason I answered it was, on my caller ID, I had seen it sent the phone.
Right, so that's another important thing to remember. The phone number that comes up on your caller ID is easily faked. The person on the other end can make it say whatever they want. So they can make it say White House. They can make it say the Senior Center. They can make it say anything. So ignore the number that comes up on caller ID. It's not a guarantee of safety.
Even if it's your
Yeah, they're using it.
It's your own number. Right. Yes, sir.
Like they'll do that, like I live in Douglas, and the phone number says Town of Douglas, it's not.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah. If anything that says Douglas, you should be suspicious. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes.
I get a lot of phone calls from, I think it's Massachusetts Police Association.
Yes. So, I got some advice for you.
Okay.
So if anybody gets a solicitation from anybody who claims to be a police department, what I would tell you is this. If you want to contribute to your local police department, that's fine, but don't send any money to anybody who's calling you from a national organization. And the reason is, I got a call just like that the other day. And I've been in this business for 35 years. They mentioned an organization I've never even heard of. So if I've never heard of them in 35 years, I'm not giving them money. And the reality is, those are paid solicitors, which means they're taking 75 cents out of every dollar you contribute. So if you choose to contribute locally, that's fine. If not, please don't bother. Okay? Thank you all.